Hello musicians, welcome back. My name is Bucky Dirtle and I'm doing another video tutorial on VCV Rack's various modules. And today I'm talking about Nisynthy's MVerb. Now Nisynthi has several reverb modules that are really cool, and this is one of them. So we're going to go over the features of this reverb unit, and we're going to see what it does and maybe some ways it can be used. So first of all, I have AS module's BPM clock, which is running. I'm coming out of a gate from the beat, 120, and I'm going into Volt's Trummer 2 synthesizer, drum synthesizer, and in this one I have the noise turned up quite high, so because I want to get some high end, and I have the oscillator turned down quite low, so we have some nice low end. So that runs out into the MVerb. As you can see, I've got two outs coming out into in left and in right, and then I'm going out left and right into my mixer, and I have separate channels because this is a stereo. This is a stereo reverb unit, so I want to make sure we get stereo rather than just mono. So I'm going out two separate outs into the audio interface. So let's have a listen to just what we got here and then some sound. So you can hear it's a reverb sound. Okay, so let's let that tap away there, and we're going to adjust some of the go down through some of the adjustments. So we talked about the input already. We have a mix at the top here, and a mix will be wet and dry. So we're talking about wet and dry. We talked about this before in other modules. A dry sound is what you're hearing now. Dry is completely to the left, the dial, and it's the original sound. That's a dry sound. Wet sound will be all the way to the right, and this is a completely affected sound. This is only the reverb sound. So you would find your mix where you want it to be. A little bit of reverb, a lot of reverb. You vary it where you want it to be. Okay? Now the next one is pre-delay. Now pre-delay, what it seems to be to me, and there's not a lot of documentation on this one, but what it seems to me to be is how long does it take before the delay begins playing the new affected delay sound. So if I turn it all the way to the left, it's immediate. So you can hear it in the sound. It's instant. As soon as the original sound happens, the reverb sound starts immediately. But if I crank it up halfway, you can hear there's a little bit of a delay from when the initial sound happens to when the delay starts, which is an interesting kind of pump sound. If I go all the way to the right, you've probably heard that sound before. It almost sounds like a sidechain kind of compressor going on, or anyway, some kind of gate. But you can see you can have some good effects with this. Interesting. Okay, early mix. Okay, so again, there's not a lot of documentation on this one. So this one sounds to me to be, it's a very quick, you would have a delay, but you'd take it out. Like how soon do you want that delay to not to be happening anymore, and go to the original sound. So all the way down here, you have a tiny peck of the delay process sound, but then it's shut off. And all the way over here, it's full delay sound. Now again, this gives us different sounds. I'm not sure exactly what this one does. Again, there's very little documentation about it. So sometimes I'm not sure what some of these units do because they don't have it documented. But this one here, it seems to me something like that. Because you can hear, like when I've got to turn down a little bit to the left, you hear the sound, but it doesn't really ring on. It cuts short. And over here, it lets it ring on it. So that's something you can play with. Room size is that. It's a room size. Small room, a little bit bigger room. And this has to do with the reflection sound. You see here the reflection sound is thrown way out there. It's not the same as our pre-delay, because our pre-delay, if we go out here like this in pre-delay, there's no sound for a split second before we start hearing the process sound. But in room size, there is. In room sound, the reflection, the first reflection back is longer out. And that gives us the idea that the wall it's reflecting off is further back. Density. Density doesn't give us a whole lot. Let's see what it's like with the full mix. Density is very subtle. I think density might have something to do with with resonance, but it's a very subtle change. Again, I wish there was more documentation on this, but it seems to be something to do with resonance. So I'm not totally 100% sure on density. Low pass filter, low pass frequency filter. This one here, when we have it all the way or pretty close all the way down, we're getting a lot of low frequencies passing through, and the top end is cut off. And then the further up we go, the higher frequencies letting through. This is a low pass filter, so the low end is let through anyway. The high is cut off, and the further we go up, the more the high end is let in. If I go all the way to the top, is the entire, all of the waveform coming through. So it's all the way up to the top will be the entire frequency range. So basically it will be off. The filter will be off. Okay, so there you go. Decay. Decay is how long it takes for the process sound to die away. So if I turn it all the way down, it's immediate pretty much. Or up, it takes a longer while for it to die away. And then of course right up to the top, it's almost indefinite. It'll just keep ringing on and on and on. Damping, think of damping about the material that's on the walls. So if I have it down pretty close to the bottom, what the material on the walls, you could think, well, that will be draperies or something. Maybe you're in a library, you know. And then the further I go up, the kind of the harder, like your stone wall or drywall, gyprock, you know. So it's something that rings a lot, you know. So the higher your dampening is turned up to the right, then the more the sound will ring, you know, because it's hitting a hard wall and reflecting back. Gain is gain. It's how much gain it is. Like, you know, I think this is output gain. I don't think this is input gain. I think it's output gain. So that'll be how much level is being put out of the unit, not how hot the level is as it enters into the reverb tank. It's more about how loud it's going out. I'm pretty sure that is output gain. Freeze. Freeze grabs a moment in time. It grabs a moment in time for you. Pretty cool. And there's lots of ways to use that. I mean, you could use that in pretty funky ways, and there's also a trigger. So you could use that as a trigger to do some cool things too. So that is basically it. I'm going to turn this down now. That's basically it. Now, it's unfortunate that some of these things like density and early mix are not really defined well, and there's not a lot of documentation on it. Maybe somebody out there may have some clarification for us on how these subtle variables will, like what they actually supposed to do, how we can use them. I'd love to hear about it. If you have any insight into that, please let me know, and be sure to keep in touch. Contact me in the utopian.io Discord, and you can also get me in Steam and chats, and you can get me here in the comments of this posting. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck in your music. I hope we can use MVerb and in your own music, and there's other reverb units we'll be looking into in the future from Nice Synthes. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you next time.